The Haunting Detour. The night was dark and foreboding as the Peterson family embarked on a long-awaited road trip. Tom, the father, was behind the wheel, his knuckles white as he gripped it tightly. Beside him, his wife, Sarah, clutched the map, trying to make sense of the intricate web of roads that stretched out before them. In the back seat, their two children, Emily and Jake, were fast asleep, unaware of the eerie detour their journey was about to take. They had been driving for hours through desolate country roads, the GPS signal long lost to the wilderness. Sarah had insisted on taking a shortcut she'd read about online, promising to shave hours off their trip. But as they ventured deeper into the night, the winding roads seemed to twist and turn in ways that defied logic. Tom furrowed his brow as he squinted at the road ahead, bathed in the feeble glow of their headlights. "Are you sure this is the right way, Sarah?" She studied the map, her finger tracing a line that disappeared into a dense forest. "According to this, it should lead us back to the main highway soon. Just a few more miles." But those few miles felt like an eternity. The road became narrower, overgrown with gnarled branches that clawed at the car's windows. The woods on either side seemed to close in, casting an oppressive darkness. Tom's unease grew with each passing minute, but he kept driving, reluctant to wake the kids. As they rounded a particularly sharp bend, the headlights revealed a dilapidated sign that read "Welcome to Willowbrook." The town looked long abandoned, with crumbling buildings and broken windows. Tom's heart sank, realizing that they had taken a terribly wrong turn. "We need to turn around, Sarah," he said, his voice trembling. But Sarah, ever the optimist, was determined to find their way through Willowbrook and back to the main road. "We'll just keep going straight. It can't be much farther now." The town's eerie silence was broken only by the soft patter of rain on the roof of the car. The streets twisted and turned like a labyrinth, leading them deeper into the heart of Willowbrook. As they passed an old church, Tom glimpsed something in the rearview mirror. A shadowy figure had appeared in the road behind them, barely visible in the darkness. "Did you see that?" he whispered, his voice barely audible. Sarah turned to look, but there was nothing there. "You're imagining things, Tom. It's just the stress getting to you." But Tom couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. He kept driving, now acutely aware of every creak and groan the car made. The road seemed to stretch on forever, and Willowbrook showed no sign of ending. Finally, they came to a dead end. The road terminated at an old, wrought-iron gate that led into an overgrown cemetery. Tom slammed on the brakes, causing the car to skid to a stop. In the headlights, they could see the tombstones, weathered and ancient. "Turn around," Sarah urged, her voice filled with panic. Tom attempted to do just that, but the car refused to start. He tried the ignition several times, each attempt met with nothing but a disheartening click. As they sat in the immobile vehicle, dread crept over them. They could see figures moving in the darkness beyond the cemetery gate. Shadows flitted among the tombstones, and the sound of whispered voices carried on the wind. It was as if the very air was saturated with a malevolent presence. "We have to get out of here," Tom said, his voice shaky. He turned to the kids, who were now awake and wide-eyed with fear. "Emily, Jake, we need to go on foot. Stay close." They abandoned the car and cautiously made their way past the gate, entering the cemetery. The moonlight filtered through the thick canopy of trees, casting eerie shadows on the gravestones. The children clung to their parents, terrified. As they ventured deeper into the graveyard, they stumbled upon a mausoleum, its heavy door hanging ajar. Tom pushed it open, revealing a chilling interior. The walls were lined with dusty coffins, and the air was icy cold. "This can't be real," Sarah murmured, her voice quivering. Suddenly, a spectral figure materialized before them, its form shifting and flickering like smoke. It let out a mournful wail that chilled them to their bones. The children screamed, and Tom and Sarah tried to shield them. "We mean no harm," Tom shouted, his voice cracking. "We're lost, and we need to leave." But the ghostly apparition only drew nearer, its face twisted in anguish. It reached out toward them with ghostly, translucent hands. Terrified, they backed away, only to find themselves surrounded by more phantoms, each one more horrifying than the last. The air was thick with their mournful cries, and the ground beneath them seemed to shift and churn as if the very earth was alive. In a desperate bid to escape, the family ran deeper into the cemetery, their hearts pounding in their chests. The spectral entities pursued them relentlessly, their eerie wails echoing in the night. As they reached the cemetery's edge, they stumbled upon an old, rusted gate that led out into the woods. Without hesitation, they pushed through it, leaving the cemetery and the horrors within behind. They ran through the woods, not looking back, until they finally reached a deserted road. They kept running until they found help, eventually encountering a small gas station where they were able to call the authorities. When the police arrived, they searched Willowbrook and found nothing but an abandoned town, devoid of any life, and certainly no cemetery. The Peterson family's harrowing experience remained unexplained, and they vowed never to speak of it again. But as they drove away from Willowbrook, they couldn't shake the feeling that they had narrowly escaped something truly malevolent that night, something that should never have been encountered on a wrong turn taken at night.